Hi, this is Miss Hamilton. Welcome to the video tutorial on how to bookmark a resource from SIRS Issues Researcher into your Scoop.it dashboard. The first thing you're going to do is actually open the resource that you want to bookmark. And unfortunately, we have discovered that within some of the network restraints that we have and some of the constraints of Internet Explorer, which unfortunately is the only browser that we're able to give you access to on campus at this time anyway. The share this button does not work cleanly between SIRS and Scoop.it. So we're going to need to do a manual load, and this is going to be a little bit tricky. Most of you remember that we've told you that you need to look for the static or persistent link in a database, and typically you'll see a button that says bookmark this or persistent link, or you may even see something called a document URL at the end of the database article. Unfortunately, SIRS Issues Researcher doesn't provide either. So the only choice that you do have is to grab the URL. Now, while this tends to work for a few weeks, please be aware that we have had reports of those links not working after a couple of months. And unfortunately, this is a challenge that we don't have a lot of control over. We've reported this concern to our database vendor, but that challenge has not quite been remedied yet. So I'm just going to grab the link up here, even though this is something we would never do for our Gale databases or Academic Search Complete. And I'm going to now need to do a manual post. So I'm going to click on New Post. And unfortunately, I have to do a lot of tweaking with this database, simply because none of the fields are going to populate properly. And again, it may take just a moment as you're moving between windows for the services to communicate to each other and to process the information that you're trying to input. So I am going to copy and paste that link in with the knowledge that it is not a true static URL. And as you can see, now we're getting an error message that is having difficulty picking up the URL. So at this point, you're a little bit limited on your choices. All you're going to be able to do is to write a post without any URL. But what you can do is to make a note of that URL in the notes box, even though that's not necessarily the prettiest way or not our preferred way of doing it. But again, sometimes we have to work within the parameters of the services. And I'm now going to be able to go back and fill in the other fields as properly as I can. So I'm going to copy the article title. Obviously, it's not going to pick up any images. Just going to go through. And I'm even going to take just a moment to go through and add maybe the first few sentences of this article, just because the gibberishy looking link doesn't really mean a lot to me when I look at that. So again, you might want to hit the enter key a time or two, just give yourself a little space, and then add your short description. And that's just more for you, as well as anyone who's viewing, to know a little bit again about what this is about. And now we're going to post. And again, it may take just a few minutes. Now you can see I've added that source, and if I wanted to go view topic, then certainly I could do that. Unfortunately, of all the databases, this is the one that seems to work the least cleanly with Scoop.it at this time, or any of our other social media streams for that matter. And since we're not able to configure the add this sharing button, then we just work around a couple of those challenges and do a little bit of tweaking. Nonetheless, though, you are able to add your SIRS articles to your curated Scoop.it dashboard. So just be aware that SIRS, while it has good content, is a little trickier to add, and there may be a couple extra steps involved, but it's still very doable. And now I can continue bookmarking. Thank you for taking time to watch this video tutorial on how to capture a resource from SIRS Issues Researcher to Scoop.it. Thank you again.